It is so incredibly depressing to live as a person, especially a man, in the 21st century. And I use the term live very loosely. I think just existing, just drifting through life would probably be the correct terminology just based on the way that most people are today. Um, I don't know how the fuck most guys today are supposed to get a girlfriend. I legitimately don't know how it's possible. You get a calculator, bust out the odds, try to puzzle it out. I think it'd be approximately 0% for most people. I mean, between having the top 10% of men just whisk all the ladies away and the guys in their 30s who are also snatching them up, there's just not anybody left. They're not, unless you're in the top percent, the very top brass, you don't get anything. And hence why we have men reporting higher loneliness than women, and the number of sexless men rising year by year. I know, I mean, I guess people don't really think about it, but when men don't have a family to come home to, what reason do they have to get up every morning and bust their ass doing menial labor or contributing to society in some other way? What do they have to live for? Well, so maybe relationships are a bust, but at least we still have friends, right? Except they're nowhere to be found. Seriously, I've been thinking about this ever since I graduated over freaking 2 years ago now. Where are you supposed to find people after you graduate from school? Seriously, what do you do? You know, presumably it used to be that you would just spontaneously make friendships with people that you spent a lot of time with at work because you were forced to be in the same area day after day for an extended period of time. So naturally you would have to form some sort of bond to maintain your sanity in the workplace. You had no choice, right? But now so much shit is online that it's maybe I'm just biased here because I'm an entrepreneur. I don't go to work, and everybody I do work with is fucking old because they're the only people that own property nowadays. But I think we can pretty much rule that out for a decent percent of the population. So, assuming you can't rely on the workplace, what do you do? Because you can't rely on these one-off encounters. You have to have that consistent exposure. Otherwise, it's just fucking weird. Like, you can't be at Kroger or Dollar Tree or wherever the fuck you go and just walk up to somebody like, hey, how's it going? From what I've heard from boomers, like, that was kind of sort of a thing in the past. Now, definitely not. People are going to look at you like you got four fucking heads. Like you literally just flashed your tits at them. They're going to be so confused. So, cross that one off. Okay, well, how about the gym? If you go there quite often, you'll see people that you recognize. Most people have headphones in. And even the ones that probably don't want to be disturbed when they're in the middle of fucking working out. They probably don't want that. Okay, so gym's also a bust. How about bars? People talk about them as being more lax and socially acceptable to approach people you don't know, which is true. But you have to be a drinker. If you're someone who's very health conscious and wants to maintain a healthy mind and body for as long as possible, you're probably not going to bars because there's not a whole lot else to do there other than drink. Now, this next one might actually apply to a decent amount of people who still have faith in a higher being for some fuck all reason. And that's church. I do believe that you can meet decent people at church if you are also religious. If you're not, then why the fuck are you at church in the first place? As far as meeting other people out in the wild goes, the only thing I can really think of other than the things we already mentioned are hobbies. So if you're a hiker, maybe you go hiking with your hiking buddies, or you join some kind of club and you meet people that way. Or if you're like 60 years old, maybe you scrapbook. That was the thing like 100 years ago, I think. I don't know. I think my mom did it when I was a kid, and then it just kind of ceased to exist in my mind after that. So, yeah, that's another option. But the problem is that you're restricted to the hobbies that you already have. If you don't enjoy a lot of things, well, your pool is that much smaller. And I would never recommend that anyone try to fabricate or manufacture things that they're interested in, because it never works out in the long run. People will see right through that shit. Just don't do it. And so the only thing we're left with at the end of the day is apps. What we have to thank for all our fucking parasocial relationships that we get to enjoy in 2024. Yes, I had to check what year it was. And once I graduated college, everything started to blur together. So I've dabbled with these myself. Things like Meetup or Bumble for Friends, or even just the local Reddit. I really stooped that low. But believe it or not, I have looked there, and I've even joined fucking Discord groups, which is just the bottom of the barrel. But I mean, that's how desperate I was when I realized, oh shit, I gotta make friends some fucking how, and none of these other things are working for me. So that's a very strong maybe, depending on really just RNG. I mean, that's just IRL RNG right there. Most of the people that I match with on these apps are either fucking crazy, or we're not compatible. They don't respond for whatever reason. I just assume that they don't want to talk, or vice versa. So I haven't really had much success there either at this point. But let's suppose, against all the odds, that you somehow meet somebody, you actually meet up with them in real life, some fucking how, and you enjoy a wonderful evening out together. Then you have to spend the next however many months or years mulling over the fact that they may not actually be your friend. Because so many people these days have ulterior motives. If someone can be nice to you, anyone can do that. But it doesn't mean that they actually like you or that they want to be your friend. And just to substantiate this claim a little bit, we're going to go on a little bit of a tangent here, so brace yourself. But most of the friends I had up until just less than a year ago, to be honest with you, I had sustained since as early as elementary school in some cases. And most of them were from middle school, high school, college. Now, I don't want to get into it too much because I already talked about it in my last video, but the gist of it is these people were not functioning, and more importantly, they didn't even know who I was. We bonded over the things we had in common, which was primarily video games and anime because we were all fucking nerds. And that was about where the similarities ended. Now, let me be clear. They had no reservations about talking or expressing their views on fucking anything, mainly politics and religion and other serious shit, but just in general. Whereas I knew the moment I opened my mouth and said anything, of course I can't really go into the details here. Good old Susan is watching over here, so I just got a camera in here fucking somewhere, so I gotta be careful about what I say. But basically, I couldn't express any of the beliefs that I have, and they could basically force themselves upon me whenever they wanted. Just a vent about Big Orange Man or whatever they saw on Twitter that day. And I just kind of had to put up with it. And towards the end, like in the last year or so, I just got tired of it. I had this epiphany. After years of people older and wiser than myself telling me that this was going to happen, I finally saw it unfold firsthand, where when I started opening up even a little bit about what I really thought, and not in a confrontational, aggressive, or otherwise argumentative way, but just being honest and giving my opinions in conversations, shit did not last very long. It actually fell apart remarkably quickly, like within less than a month of these things transpiring. And I realized that no matter how long it had been, 3, 5, even up to 10 plus years in some cases, these people didn't know me. They didn't know the real me, and they didn't want to. And the whole irony, the bitch of it is, I was content leaving things well enough alone. I was never the one to bring these things up. They were the ones that were super insistent. They demanded that we talk about these things while we're trying to play fucking Smash Bros. Or Mario Party, right? And so eventually I let it happen. I would always try to dissuade them, change the topic, and I let it happen. And then everything goes to shit. And as much as it sucked, to be honest, my only regret is not letting it happen sooner. Because that was time that I could have been searching for people that actually may have appreciated me. or God forbid, even understood and sympathized with my beliefs. But anyway, getting back on track. So supposing that you can't find a woman like most guys our age, and supposing that you don't have any fucking friends, which isn't even that far of a stretch to say either, the only thing that you can have after that, that's left, I should say, is your family. And I know this might not be any better than the other two for a lot of people, including myself, for the most part. But they're supposed to be your lifeline, right? Like there's no matter what, you're supposed to have them there. They're supposed to be by your side whenever you need them, and vice versa. And it's just not the case anymore. It seems like everything is fallen down at the same time. Because I distinctly remember growing up and going to family gatherings for every single holiday, even stupid ones that didn't even matter. And we had our own traditions as well, like going blueberry picking every summer, or going to amusement park at the same time every summer. And that kicked fucking ass. I look back on those days so fondly now. Of course, we never knew what we had back then. What most people would call just a normal fucking childhood that grew up back then. I just appreciate so much more now as an adult when those things don't really exist for the new generation. Or maybe it's just me and the people that I know that are fucked up between all the daddy issues and just the total breakdown of the family. Not even just the nuclear family, but like I said, people just don't get together anymore. It was like once the kids grew up, the family just stopped existing. And I say grew up, I use that term very loosely because this all happened or began to happen when I was still in late high school. Everything just went to shit. And nobody gets together. Nobody even fucking talks to each other anymore. I have most of my family here lives in the same city as me. Most of them not even more than 5-10 miles away. I never fucking see them. Some of them I have not seen in years, literally. Why? What the fuck happened? It was not like this like a decade ago. We didn't have to put up with this shit. People still had relationships with their family members. The bonds were still intact, and people had that sense of camaraderie. Like, no matter how bad shit got, there would always be someone, at the very least, you would have your fucking family there. No, not anymore. Nope, not there. There's nobody. There's fucking nobody for so many people. If you do meet even one of these criteria, whether it be a lover, a friend, or family, count yourself fucking lucky. Again, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm the retarded one. Like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. But I've seen this too many times. I refuse to believe that it's all in my head, that all these statistics and these patterns that I've seen in my personal life don't exist. This seems to be the norm nowadays. Please tell me if I'm wrong. I really hope to be. I hope that other people don't have to go through everything that the people I know and myself have experienced, because it fucking sucks. But if you don't have any of those, if somehow you fail to meet any 3 of those criteria, even just one, all you have left are coves. And this is where I think most people today fall. Now again, I touched on this a little bit on my last video, so I don't want to repeat it too much, but they substitute human relationships with pets, online friends, or vices. Whether it be smoking, drinking, alcohol, pornography, it doesn't matter. It's all the same thing. And just to bring it back to the start, this is why I made the claim that most people simply exist. They don't have any overarching meaning in life anymore. Unless you're religious, then I guess you're fine. But most people have nothing to derive meaning from because they have no relationships. Even if you're part of the 1% that somehow is still able to become successful, and I'm speaking in monetary terms here. If you get a hold of fuck you money somehow, you don't have any relationships, are you really any better off? All you can accumulate is material possessions. What kind of fulfillment is that really bringing you in the long term? At the end of the day, you're still going to bed by yourself. You still have to sit there and be reminded of how fucking lonely you are. We were designed for physical interaction with other people, not this parasocial bullshit on Facebook or Twitter or any other fucking gay ass site on the internet anymore. This is not real life. That is not real. It's about as real as this fucking bitch right here. I love you. I'm sorry, but it's true. But yeah, that's about all I got to say. So yeah, peace.